Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining another Contentserv Insight session. It's my pleasure to bring you today's topic together with our partner InBetween, which is focused on bringing from print to finished catalog efficient automation using InBetween. I'm very happy to be with you today. Just a little bit of background about myself. My name is Alexander Semrel. I am the Managing Director of Contentserv US, working very closely together with new and existing customers. And thank you all so much for joining us today. Now, before I do a short introduction and hand over to Peter, who's joining me, I would encourage anyone who has any questions to please use the Q&A feature at your right-hand side of the screen. By all means, enter any questions, and we'll plan to go through those towards the end of the session. As I mentioned earlier, we have Peter joining us today. Peter, it's really great to have you on. Can you also do a short introduction?
Yes, of course, Alex. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. My name is Peter. I've been with InBetween for just over 10 years this year, and I'm responsible for sales globally. And as such, I really encounter new use cases practically on a daily basis. So this is very interesting. Specifically, the English-speaking market is very interesting to me because it somewhat differs from the German-speaking market in terms of the types of collaterals you need to be produced from Contentserv. Yes, that brings me to the title. The idea today is to show you a little bit about how InBetween produces publications, collaterals from Contentserv PIM based on an approach that allows you to efficiently automate the production of catalogs, data sheets, price lists, packaging, labels, what have you. So let's start. What customers typically produce with InBetween are, as I said, catalogs, sales folders, price lists, and data sheets. And all the samples here are existing customer projects of InBetween. Now, speaking to new companies on the market, the situation we quite often encounter is the fact that they are still producing catalogs and the like manually. So what they typically do, they have a small team of media designers working with Adobe InDesign, a great tool because it allows you to do all the layouting and stuff. However, in most cases, InDesign is not connected to any data sources, which means producing catalogs in InDesign is obviously involved with a lot of manual effort. It takes a long time. So 9 months for producing one version of the catalog before you go to other languages is quite possible. It costs too much because it takes a lot of people working for a long time. And because I'm copying and pasting from different sources, from Excel, from Word, from PDF, or from emails, the data quality in the finished catalog might be not very good. In a lot of cases, customers don't even manage to enforce a corporate design in the collaterals. But the biggest problem really is that a lot of companies don't really think of the print channel in terms of a unified strategy as part of their digital marketing. And that really is a problem. While a lot of companies approach us and asking about a tool for hooking InDesign up to Contentserv, which we do, or doing web to print, which we do, web to PDF, or producing data sheets, PDFs from Contentserv in a highly automated manner. The discussion is very often on a tool level, but that's probably the wrong approach. What I really like to do is to have a discussion, have a conversation with customers to really talk about their strategy. business values they want to get out of a new set of solutions for the print channel. Now, based on those shortcomings, we see a high potential to really reduce effort and workload for customers using our solutions. They save costs, they achieve faster time to market. So if you can produce a catalog within a few days, obviously you can react to new market conditions much quicker than compared to a case where it takes you several months. We can definitely improve the product experience because everything looks much better. The data are correct and the data are consistent across the different channels. And customers can really set up a seamless and transparent publication process. That's really what InBetween is about. It's not just about tools, it's really about the idea of making the print publishing process transparent for everybody and really seamless. So what we offer is to automate the production of catalogs, data sheets, price lists, and so on, not just for printed versions, printed in terms of paper, but also for digital versions. So we can produce highly interactive PDFs or highly interactive flipbook-like approaches integrated into the website of our customers. So at the end of the day, we automate, we digitize that whole process. We make everything much easier, less effort, less costs, so you can redirect your resources to drive business growth. That's really the idea. Now, let me talk about a few success stories. Just a few months ago, ABB Motors in the US have finished a around 600-page catalog, a very complex catalog featuring many thousands of products and even more variants of those products. This was a huge problem for them. It took months and months and months to get this catalog finished for the printed versions. Now they can produce this on a daily basis, and they actually do that. They update the digital version within their library, not necessarily on a daily basis, but once or twice a week. So this is a great success, and you can find this catalog in the ABB document library. That's the 501 catalog, and have a look at it and look at all the interactive features of the digital version. It's really quite great. Arkema is an example where we fully automated the production of highly complex data sheets. In this case, highly complex because it's several pages. This is chemical products. So there are, again, lots of specs, lots of drawings, formulas, and so on. And they've achieved this last year or the year before and have started onboarding additional brands and additional languages. And the figures they told us, it's actually way above $1 billion they saved for the production of the data sheets, and thousands of employee hours freed up. That's what they told us. So that's not something we're just saying for the fun of it. So this is a great example. Another example I really like is Eurogast in Austria. This is a wholesaler for restaurants and hotels. Not only do they sell food and other related products for hotels and restaurants, they also deliver the whole stuff. So you can order, some meat, some beverages by 8 o'clock in the evening, and in the morning, 6 o'clock, the whole thing will be delivered to your door. That's roughly the kind of logistics setup they have. What they also do, they produce leaflets every 2 weeks. You can see some samples here, what the leaflets look like. So it's products, descriptions, and prices and barcodes. And The interesting thing here is they produce those leaflets not just once for the whole of Austria. In fact, Eurogast is 14 regional wholesalers. So what they do, they produce one master in the central marketing. And once that is finished, it's distributed via our online platform to 14 regions. Each region can adapt the leaflets to their own regional needs, different products, different prices, in fact. So they are not allowed to see each other, basically. And once they are finished with the regional variant of the leaflet, it's sent to an external agency and they look after the actual print production and sending out of the paper leaflets. There are digital versions of those leaflets, obviously, as well. Now, how does it all work? We have the simple Credo, connect, define, publish. Connect your data, define your automation level, and publish your collaterals. Now, obviously, we all know that it is a little bit more complex than just 3 words. Specifically for manufacturers, the data and specific relations between the data, exceptions of the way tables are built, and so on. It can get very complex, and the same for retailers. Quite often, the setup, how you set up workflows, how you integrate stakeholders into the whole process of publications, of producing publication, can get quite complex. However, together with our partner Contentserv, we are able to provide a joint solution. We have a real-time connector to the Contentserv PIM system, so we can read products, we can read the hierarchy of products, we can read all the attributes, obviously relations. In other words, we can read the full taxonomy inside your Contentserv PIM. We can read the images, icons, we can connect additional data sources for prices, and so on. And once we got all that set up and in real-time connectivity, we can start producing catalogs, price lists, data sheets, and so on. And in fact, the InBetween Connector to Contentserv is available in the Contentserv App Store. So if you navigate to this address, you will find this connector. On a data level, the whole thing looks like this. So we got the data on the Contentserv side, and you will be able to see the same data on the InBetween side. In the online platform, you can readily filter, sort, and do all sorts of things. You can select a number of products and move them into a basket. Let's say you are a product manager for a particular product category, so you don't want to deal with all the products. You want to select your products beforehand, push them into the basket, and then you're able to start planning, start building pages, or review pages that have already been automatically produced by the system. I will get back to your questions in a minute. Benefits for you: the joint Contentserv and InBetween solution allows you faster generation times with only the relevant data. You can filter, you can sort, you can push just the data to InBetween you need with just the required products, granular attributes, and so on. So you don't really have the hassle of managing too much in multiple systems. Now, one major consideration in working with InBetween is, do you want to work fully automated? That means you work completely data-driven from Contentserv directly to PDF without any interaction. That's great if you are striving for maximum efficiency. For data sets, for data sheets, that's what you want to do. But there are some customers who use the fully automated approach for catalogs as well. While a lot of other customers do not like the idea of a fully data-driven approach, they want to have some manual control over the planning of and the setup of the pages. So we offer a partially automated approach. Fully automated, as I said, from data to PDF. Partially automated with InBetween means into our collaborative online platform where everybody, all the stakeholders can see what's happening. You can combine this with a second stage in InDesign for final finishing. So this whole thing allows you to define a very simple workflow, review, approval, and promoting pages to InDesign and so on. However, you can completely work without the online platform and automate directly to Adobe InDesign, or automate from within InDesign, or work manually from InDesign, however, hooked up to Contentserv. Once you've set your publications and collaterals up, you can publish dynamically. That means with the same setup, you can produce for different customer segments, different product ranges, languages, and so on. So yes, you have to do quite a bit of work, templating, and so on. But once that is all set up, you are very flexible in producing across different parameters. Let me just give you a quick insight to our online user interface. That's the publication wizard. Here we can see a number of pages in the so-called planning area. On the right-hand side, we have access to products, to master pages, to our basket, and obviously there is a lot more functionality. So I can add comments, annotations, I can add pages, I can populate those pages with products, and so on. I can generate from here in all the formats we support. And there are other managing functions, filtering functions, and so on. So just to reiterate, master pages, you can build those master pages right in that online platform. You have your planning area, and you have your data sources, your products, and so on. What really distinguishes us from others, so to speak, our USP, is a unique no-code approach. By setting up publications in InBetween, you don't need to do any coding. This is all done within a visual templating editor. Yes, you can use our InDesign plugin as well for some parts of the templating. However, at the beginning of a project, you will start in the visual templating editor. You can import your existing styles from InDesign. And this is great because this allows us not only to provide you with a visual tool where you don't need to code anything, it also allows us to provide you with publishing flows that do not require Adobe InDesign at any stage. You can integrate Adobe InDesign if you wish so, but it's not mandatory. The new release 6, which we are just releasing at the moment, will extend that approach with a more modern UX, lots of new features and lots of more performance, specifically in the cloud setup. Watch LinkedIn or join our newsletter to find out about those features more detailed. So to summarize, Contentserv and InBetween allow you really to roll out even complex print solutions globally. Your faster time to market, your ROI is guaranteed, and so on. And at the end, I just want to show you some of our customers. What's interesting is that we work with manufacturers and retailers alike. We do have a certain focus in retail on some of the luxury article companies, Tag Heuer, Montblanc. There are a few more which we don't show here. We work with a lot of manufacturers and well-known names such as ABB, Kärcher, Festool, Vaillant, Fissmann, Bosch, Siemens Home Appliances, Rollplug, and so on. So I hope this was a good summary for you. and do not hesitate to contact me for any more questions. And let me look at one of the questions that was put into the public chat.
Sure, Peter. That was regarding the download link from Dan, or whether that's being used or a CDN download link is enough to get the images in the leaflet.
There are many different ways of doing the same thing. We would use download links from DAMs in most cases. If a CDN exists, we can obviously use that as well to get to the images. It needs to be connected to the data, obviously. We need some reference images to product data, but both is easily possible. Okay. Thank you very much, Peter. I really appreciate your time and your presentation today. And I see that you've also added your contact details here. So should any of our participants have any questions, hopefully they're able to reach out to you directly as well after our session. All right. Yes, when we did this in this webinar in German this morning, questions came a little later. We asked for questions by the audience and nobody reacted, and suddenly there were 5, 6, 7, 8 questions. So I would suggest we wait for a moment. Maybe people are still typing and haven't sent their questions yet. But however, do not hesitate to contact me. You will find me on LinkedIn. You can write me in an email, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you about your particular requirements, your particular use case. Perfect.
Okay. Absolutely. Certainly, we can still give anyone, and definitely encourage any questions. Please feel free to use the chat. We'll be more than happy to go through them together. And there was one additional question, I believe, from Nick earlier on, just regarding the recording for today's webinar. And as mentioned in the chat, that the recording will be recorded and shared with all of our participants. Absolutely. In fact, Peter, an additional question here for us, this time from Nick as well, just regarding getting my database to an InDesign pre-prep file. Is that best achieved using the connector?
Well, if you connect to Contentserv PIM, yes, you will need that connector. There are obviously other ways of accessing data in Contentserv PIM. In the past, we've done a number of projects based on XML and other approaches, but we would really say, I would really say the connector is the most efficient and the most modern way to do that. In order to answer that question, it would really be good to really understand the exact requirements. But yes, connecting InDesign to Contentserv with InBetween is best done with a connector.
Correct.
It's actually very easy.
Okay. And if you would like to learn more information around that specific question, definitely would recommend them reaching out to Peter directly to set up a more in-depth discussion. Peter, I think that's going to be it for today. Okay. So just checking through. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Alex. And thank you very much, everybody, for spending half an hour with us. I really look forward to hearing from you.
Likewise. Thank you very much for the presentation, for the insights shared, Peter, today. Very insightful. And to all of our participants as well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. A recording will be made available. And if you do have any questions regarding InBetween, definitely encourage you to reach out to Peter through his contact details here. In the meantime, have a very nice day wherever you are, and take care, everyone. Thanks so much for joining.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.